At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
3, 2, 1.
This podcast contains content that may be disturbing for some listeners and is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Unusual Curiosity, the podcast where weird people talk about weird things. I'm Tracy.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Taylor.
Today we're going to explore something that sounds like it came straight from a sci-fi novel, but it actually was funded and used by the United States government.
Shady.
Surprise! It's called remote viewing, and it's the psychic spy program you were never supposed to know about.
Does it involve cats?
It does
Or
not.
fish.
Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, speaking of animals, I'm sorry. Did you see the zebra that got loose?
Oh my
Yes, I
god!
did.
Like, put it in a net and started like flying it through the sky.
Tennessee.
That poor zebra.
It was like chilling though, getting the
It
helicopter
was.
ride. It was
Didn't
just
have
sitting
an
there like
option.
this is such a
Somebody
nice
put that
view.
Madagascar sound to it. Did you? Okay, this is on topic, but it's not. I heard it on the radio today. Did you know Brantley Gilbert has a freaking zebra? And that wasn't
Seriously?
his.
What? He has
Yeah.
a zebra?
He has a zebra.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you? I mean,
Why
do
does
you
anybody-
ride it? I mean, it's like a horse, right?
Yeah, but no. I would not ride it.
I mean, people ride emus
That's
or ostriches, I
Yeah,
guess.
ostrich. Yeah, I can't remember telling us about that.
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
You can ride it. I'm good.
Back it up.
That we didn't even get into the topic yet. Okay.
That's how you know it's gonna be good.
Save all that for the end. So grab your tinfoil hats and let's dive into this mind-bending reality of seeing across space and time.
I definitely thought you were gonna say grab your tits.
I mean,
for real.
if it's your thing, go right ahead.
Taylor.
Oh my good night.
Good morning.
Or
Sorry.
good morning. Imagine you could sit in a dark room, close your eyes, and describe in stunning detail a location you've never been to. Maybe it's a Soviet military base, maybe it's a hidden hostage site, maybe it's a submarine beneath Arctic waters. Sounds like fiction, right?
A little bit, yeah.
But this is what remote viewing claims to make possible. Remote viewing is the alleged ability to gather information about a distant or unseen target without the use of traditional five senses. In other words, psychic spying. The process involves a viewer who attempts to describe or sketch a target location, object, or person after receiving minimal or cryptic coordinates. And here's the wild part. The U.S. government funded it for more than 20 years.
So like a sidekick?
A what?
A sidekick.
No, psychic? Like a
Psychic.
psychic medium?
Yeah.
That's what I
thought you
meant.
said sidekick.
That's what I
No.
thought you said too. I'm like, what the hell's a sidekick?
Sorry, I gotta pronounce it out.
That's
one
like
more
when you go to Texas Roadhouse and you get the extra shot with your margarita.
The
Do you want the
sidekick.
sidekick?
that.
Is that called the sidekick? I like those, by the
I
way.
meant tequila.
Let's rewind to the early 1970s. The Cold War is in full swing, and the intelligence agencies are desperate to gain the upper hand. Whispers began to circulate that the Soviet Union is researching psychic phenomenon, so naturally the U.S. wants in. Enter Project Stargate, a top-secret program launched by the Defense Intelligence Agency and the CIA to study psychic function for military and intelligence applications. The work was largely conducted at the Stanford Research Institute, or SRI, in Menlo Park, California. Two physicists, Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff.
What are some
I
names?
don't even know how you say that name. Puthoff.
That's a bad last name.
Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff were the minds behind the research. They recruited individuals who claimed psychic abilities and tested whether they could describe hidden locations, secret objects, or even people, all while sitting in an isolated room. One of the most famous participants, a man named Ingo Swann. Ingo Swann wasn't your average New Yorker. He claimed to have developed his remote viewing abilities through meditation and controlled practice. In 1973, he made headlines inside intelligence circles when he described the rings of Jupiter before NASA's Pioneer 10 spacecraft confirmed their existence a few years later. Swann reportedly described atmospheric conditions, magnetic fields, and planetary structures that weren't confirmed until later missions. Now skeptics argue that this was coincidental or cherry-picked data, but if Swann was guessing, he guessed incredibly well. According to a declassified CIA document from 1975, Swann also claimed to remote view the dark side of the moon, and what he saw there was unsettling.
Okay, well, sorry. What if this guy was like from the future and that's how he knew all this stuff?
I mean, there's always a possibility, right? Taylor, what did Ingo see on the other side of the moon?
He reported seeing extensive buildings, roads, and human-like figures digging.
It's so crazy, though, because there's a lady, and she's actually, we'll talk about her later in this podcast. Her name is Elizabeth April. And the first time I saw her was on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie in the middle of the freaking night. And I was like, this chick is weird. So she does remote viewing. She meditates. And she said that the Galactic Federation has... the Galactic Federation has a base on the dark side of the moon.
We talked about this. Full circle.
We did.
So there's like
circle.
two people that claim that they're the Galactic Federation, in certain words, is on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, it's curious to me because this guy it was back in the 70s, right? And he said he saw them digging.
Mm-hmm. Digging, yeah.
And then she comes about like probably within the last 10 years or less and says that the Galactic Federation is there.
Weird.
I know, crazy, right? Okay. Back to our story. If Ingo Swann was the pioneer, then Pat Price was the enigma. Pat Price was a former police commissioner turned psychic who became one of the most intriguing figures in the CIA's remote viewing program. Working alongside Swann at the Stanford Research Institute in the 1970s, Price stunned researchers with the vivid accuracy of his remote viewing sessions. In one session, he described a Soviet weapons facility in such fine detail that intelligence analysts reportedly scrambled to corroborate the findings using satellite imagery. Price even named the project and described large gantry cranes in spherical buildings, which were later confirmed. But Price's talents came with a mystery. He claimed he could access not only earthly targets, but also extraterrestrial bases, including one allegedly hidden inside Mount Hayes, Alaska. He believed these bases were run by non-human intelligences monitoring the Earth. Price died unexpectedly in 1975 during a Las Vegas trip, officially of a heart attack. But conspiracy theories abound. Some suggest his knowledge may have made him a target. There's like a whole conspiracy about Pat Price and how he died. It's very interesting.
Really?
Yeah, we won't go down that rabbit hole today, but maybe we'll talk about that in the future.
The Alaska thing makes sense, though, because Alaska's huge.
Yeah.
Alaska's
There's
scary.
a lot of strange things that happen in Alaska.
Like the Alaskan Triangle?
Yeah. We'll probably talk about that at some point, too.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So if you think this was just new age fun in a lab, think again. Remote viewing was actually deployed in a real world intelligence mission under names like Girl Flame, Center Lane, and eventually the all-encompassing Stargate project. One declassified success story: in 1979, a remote viewer named Joseph McMonigal described a Soviet military installation and a new class of submarine under construction. When the CIA compared satellite images to McMonagall's sketches, they reportedly found an eerie degree of similarity. McMonagall was later awarded the Legion of Merit for providing information unavailable from other sources, and he completed over 450 missions for military intelligence.
So, how do they like get into this whole thing? Do they just set them in the room and think
My
like,
gosh, you are literally mind reading me right now.
So from what
scared me.
they do a lot of testing on people. Like they brought people in that claimed to be psychic and then probably tested them to see if they were accurate. Remember Ghostbusters where
We're like on a different level tonight. What the heck?
We're on the
you're
same.
tracking. Oh my gosh. What's the dude's name from Ghostbusters?
I don't remember.
The dude that was in Zombieland.
Oh,
I cannot think tonight.
Bruce Lee.
Groundhog's Day. Why can't I think of his freaking name?
they even say his name too. Eddie Murphy.
No.
Nope.
White guy.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie
Murphy's not white. Okay.
He wasn't in Ghostbusters.
I got the names mixed up. I'm better with faces than I am with names.
I got you.
Okay.
Bill Murray.
Yes.
Murray.
Bill freaking Murray. Why
was
could I
close.
not think of his name? It's so simple.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure
Eddie's
they
on the
say
same.
that exact line in Zombieland. It's Bill freaking Murray.
Yeah, they do.
So there's a scene in Ghostbusters where he's got two people behind the table and he's got cards and he's asking them what's on the cards.
Yeah.
And if they get it right, they move on, and if they don't, they get zapped. And the girl kept getting them wrong, and he would let her pass, and the guy kept getting them right, and he didn't want him there, so he would zap him.
I forgot about that. Yep.
So probably went through some testing like that where they tested to see their accuracy and then moved them up the chain. It was probably a gradual type thing, but I would imagine the best way to get anybody to hone in anything is kind of to deprivate all their other senses. So probably put them in a dark room so they're not seeing anything visually.
Nope.
Put earplugs in so they're not hearing anything. Take away as many other senses as you can from somebody, and then give them a very limited amount of information about what they're supposed to be looking for.
Okay.
Like, okay, we're going to the Middle East and whatever in this town, or we're looking for something specific, like what are they building or what's happening here, and just let them sit and absorb it and focus in and see what happens. So sometimes they would verbally say this is happening, and sometimes they would draw it out. Like if there was something they were seeing and they wanted to get that image across, they would sketch it out. And I actually seen there's some really good documentaries on the subject, and it's compelling. It's like, wow, it's freakily. I think if you sit with something and you focus on it long enough, like any of us could probably pick up on things. Like I think we all have a little bit of sensitivity, most of us.
Yeah.
Just how do you use it?
But how do you see it? Like, how do you see it without ever being there or knowing what to look for?
You
or
see
like,
it in your mind's eye. You're not physically seeing it. You're seeing it in your mind.
yeah, I understand that, but you still have to, like, unless you're just making it up, how you think it would look. But they're not. It's actually how it is, because if you say it's like...
Yeah, I mean, they're confirming it with satellite imagery.
Yeah. So how do they know? You know?
I don't think... I mean, they don't know until it's confirmed.
Yeah.
But I think in their mind, what they're seeing is what they're seeing. Whether it's right or wrong, it's what they're seeing.
Yeah, because they don't know.
Right.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah. So not everybody was convinced. In 1995, the CIA commissioned the American Institutes for Research, or AIR, to evaluate the effectiveness of remote viewing. After reviewing decades of data, the AIR concluded that although there were occasional hits, there wasn't enough consistent evidence to support continued funding. That year, the Stargate program was shut down and declassified.
I wonder how many people they had go through this program and what the statistics were. Like, okay, if you had 100 people, did half of them get them right?
Or did 20 or 30?
I doubt if it was even that many. I bet they probably had hundreds or thousands of people that they tested, and probably less than a dozen people. I'm guessing, because, I mean, to be that accurate at remote viewing, that's such a specialty. Like, it's not...
I don't think a lot of people are, like, as psychic as they claim to be.
I agree with that.
Hence why they had to do the vetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people say, oh yeah, like, people like me, who, yeah, I may have, like, certain things that happen, but I would never call myself psychic. I just have these weird occurrences that happen every great once in a while.
Yeah, I think most people have that, you know, where you just listen to your gut or whatever. But I think there's people that are definitely naturally psychic.
For sure, yeah.
And there's definitely people that are a little bit psychic and develop their skills.
So there's people that are not superstitious, but a little stitious.
Yes. Or there's people that, you know, don't know they are either.
I think that, I actually think the best ones are the ones that don't know.
Yeah, they might just think it's just something weird that happens.
Yeah. So now we've spent most of the episode talking about remote viewing from a military and intelligence standpoint, but there's a whole other world, or maybe several, where remote viewing is alive and well and reaching into the realms the government never dared to touch. Enter Elizabeth April. Elizabeth April is a modern mystic, YouTuber, intuitive, and self-described galactic channeler. She claims to use remote viewing, astral projection, and past life regression to access hidden knowledge, not just on Earth, but from other star systems. According to her, remote viewing isn't just about spying on distant locations, it's about connecting with your higher consciousness, stepping outside of time and space, and retrieving information from what she calls the Akashic Records, an interdimensional library of everything that has ever happened. She says, we are all connected to source energy. Remote viewing is just remembering how to access it. In one video, Miss April describes remote viewing, alien technology, hidden deep in secret military facilities. In another, she claims to have seen timeline shifting, suggesting the future isn't fixed, but rather multi-threaded. So what do we do with people like Elizabeth April? Are they new age storytellers, prophets, scammers, or are they tapping into something real that we're just beginning to understand? We don't have those answers, but we're fascinated that this is even a thing. And even after the U.S. government shut down its psychic spy program, the hunger to see beyond never went away. It just shifted. Remote viewing is the perfect cocktail of government secrecy, Cold War paranoia. Annoya. Psychic wonder and scientific ambiguity. Was it a genuine breakthrough in human potential or just a very expensive case of wishful thinking? Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. What do you guys think? You think remote viewing is accurate, like true?
I don't know, honestly. I really don't. It's an interesting concept.
I believe a lot, but some things I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't understand. Unless it's the brain thing that I'm trying to explain, which I'm not very good at explaining things, but it's just, it's weird to me how someone can just see something without ever seeing it. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Like, let's say, you don't dream about a person you've never seen before. You can't just make up faces in your head. So I guess that's where I'm kind of going. Like, how can you make up something?
Because they are actually... So, remote viewing is like, sort of like astral projection. So basically, your
big words,
your
Mom.
body's here, but you're sending your soul out somewhere else.
How do you do
to
that?
view it? I don't know. I don't do it.
So if I look at AJ really, really hard, can I convince him with my mind to do the dishes?
Probably.
Or let the dog out.
We're gonna try it.
Do it.
I don't know. That's just so weird to me. Like, I'm not saying I don't believe in it, but I'm not saying I believe in it either.
Yeah.
I believe it's possible. What is kind of interesting to me is that the 3 top remote viewers in the government program were all men. It's kind of surprising because to me, I feel like women are more emotionally in tune to things,
A little bit more sensitive.
more sensitive and receptive. I mean, but that doesn't mean anything, I guess.
Is this still going on? Are people still doing this for the government?
No. Well, allegedly, no. The program got shut down. Project Stargate.
Why are all the bad things gate? Ocean Gate, Stargate, Watergate.
It fascinates me because I'm like, I believe this is true. I believe that people can do this, but I do believe that there's some people that are just wackadoo.
Yeah, 100%. Or people that are just like in it for the money.
Yeah.
Trying to get famous.
Remember, were you with us when we went to Paracon and it was Richard Estep and the psychic, I think her name's MJ Dixon, and they were on stage and they were talking about remote viewing?
Yep.
Because she lives in England and he lives here.
That's right.
And he was doing investigations at locations, not telling her where he was, and then he would call her on the phone and she did some remote viewing.
That's right. I did.
So it was like a remote
that.
investigation, but she knew where he was like every time.
Well, there was also an instance where he walked into a room and she would tell him like, "I'm seeing Tweety Bird. Like,
And
there's something Tweety
and
Bird."
it was
he
there.
He opened the closet and there was a Tweety Bird stuffed toy right in his face.
Yeah. But this shows the depths that the government's willing to go to get information.
To get a leg up.
Yeah.
Okay, 75% of our things are government related.
Well, I mean, I feel like the government does a lot of things. Like, even now, I'm sure in the next 40,
Unusual
50
things.
years. Yeah. The next 40 or 50 years, there'll be information that comes out and be like, man, the government was doing that? Like, right now, they're doing things. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That we can't even comprehend. And
Yeah.
then it'll be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. When, like, right now, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know, maybe it's just me, but maybe they're not doing things like that so much anymore. They're doing other shady stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Like-
yeah. They're into darker things now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
their technology, it's a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
likely than it was, 50 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure like with the whole Patriot Act and the whole NSA things, they're able to do things legally that they weren't able to do before that we have no idea.
Exactly.
There's probably a lot of loopholes and a lot of different
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
things
100%.
that we probably will never know of.
Yeah.
And it's like, look at the JFK files. It's been how many years? 60-something years since JFK was assassinated. And now they're coming about like, yeah, it was a government inside job. No
it's no
big
big
deal.
Yeah.
No big deal now, but
It was back then.
yeah.
I feel like certain people knew then.
100% they did.
But they probably didn't want to get chopped, so they didn't say nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because his family never made a deal about it.
I just don't understand what was the point behind all that. Money?
Power. When someone is in power and they don't do what you want them to do.
So you think he was going against the grain?
I think he was the kind of guy that went his own way, which is why people loved him.
Yep.
He wasn't a party man, so to speak.
He was doing what was right.
Yeah. What he thought was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of Soviet tensions at that time.
mm-hmm.
The whole Bay of Pigs, Cuba, Russia.
Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah. And that could have gone either way.
A lot of stuff that was going on that other people wanted to handle differently and didn't have the power to make it happen. But I feel like the whole family is just cursed.
Oh my gosh.
Because you've got, John assassinated, Robert assassinated.
Didn't one of them die in a plane crash?
So JFK's son died in a
Okay.
plane crash. Ironically, like at that time, he was running for New York Senate against Hillary Clinton. And yeah, that was interesting.
Wow. I feel like there's so many things that we will never know about. And I don't think I want to know about them.
Yeah.
I'm happy being in my...
Bubble.
Yeah. I mean,
My
I'm not
little bubble.
naive, but I definitely don't want to know everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's just depressing.
But you're not being naive because you do know it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
protecting your peace.
Yeah, and you know it probably is happening, but you don't want to know about it. I don't think that's being naive. I think that's being aware, but without having to indulge in the information.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
I don't want to either. Like, yeah, I know what goes on, but
I do. I want to know.
I guess it's scary because, to me,
information is power.
Yeah.
Information,
100%.
when you know things, you know how to protect yourself from things. I think there's a lot of people that live with their head in the sand. I'm not a confrontational person. I'm not going to go out and start something.
No,
But
not at all.
if I know something, I know something.
Yeah.
You know, and I know what to do with that information. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm overwhelmed with things that are not good for me to put in my brain right now. So I need to take a break.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not over. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when we're, like you're digging things up for podcast themes, it's like you can really get down the rabbit hole.
I have gone down some rabbit holes, and a lot of stuff, like there's a lot of fact finding, because you find stuff and you're like, oh, that's so interesting, and then you find out that it's not true. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to talk about things that aren't true.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is so great, and it ends up being, I don't know, some plot to some book that was written 50 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just like, well, no wonder it sounded so good. It's a figment of someone's imagination.
But is it really?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, see, that's the thing, is we're only as good as the information that is out there for us to get. That's the scary thing about, especially AI and people's reliance on the internet. People don't go to the library to pick up books anymore. They're on the internet scrubbing through information or whatever. All of that can be changed at any time.
It has been.
And AI and even people can go in and bend that information, tweak that information, twist it, do whatever they want, and make it into something totally different. They could create a different past, and 50 years from now or 100 years from now, when everybody's here is gone, that is the history that's left behind, and they think that's what happened. I mean, we only know from history what the information that's left behind.
Yeah.
And history is always written from the perspective of the victors.
Yep.
Who's to say it hasn't happened already?
It very well possibly could have.
But it has. I
Yes.
mean, look at, they've lied about things that they're coming out, like JFK.
Yeah. Even history books that I grew up with going to school are completely wrong, because they're finding things. Okay, for example, I like to watch Oak Island, and the history that they're digging up on Oak Island is actually more of a treasure than actual gold to me, because you're finding out that people came here that people never thought came here, or things were done in a different way than we had thought they were, because evidence doesn't lie.
Right. Yeah, but back to the whole AI thing, it's like, how many times have you scrolled through the internet and saw a video and it's like, you're questioning it, is this real? And most of the time it's not, sometimes it is, but because of AI, you can't be too careful.
Yeah, and it's as worse now as it's ever going to be. So it's only going to get better, and that's really scary.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I think you have to be so skeptical about everything you see on the internet or social media, because they literally could change the trajectory of the world.
I think that's what they want.
I think there are people that want that.
And I was just going to say, like you said, it's the worst it's ever going to be right now. Thankfully, most of the time you can tell those videos from AI are being real.
For right now.
Yeah, I was saying for right now, like, who's to say not 5 years? You can't tell.
I don't even think it'll take that long.
I don't either.
No, I was just throwing a number out there.
Yeah, no.
I read a little article today that was scary, but it's like, you have to be aware of this. This guy was saying he used to work for Google. I don't have the article in front of me, so I don't know his name. And he said that once AI becomes smarter than humans, which he projects won't be that long, we're done. Like, we don't stand a chance at that point.
I mean, look at the robots, like the humanoid robots that they already have. What was not too long ago, I watched a video. Again, don't have it in front of me, so I can't quote for quote. But basically, it turned on the people that created it, and it started fighting them. What are you going to do against a machine?
Nothing.
I think we need to take Dwight Schrute's idea and put a 6-foot extension cord on it and make it 3/4 of the size.
You can have mini robots going around kicking everybody's ass.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make a tough conversation light. It's scary to think about that, especially since, you know, hopefully I have so much life to live, and then hearing that, thinking like it's not that far away, I'm like, what is the rest of my life gonna look like? You know, that's scary to me.
Okay, do you guys want me to blow your mind?
No, because my mind is too much.
Okay, I have a theory because of things that do exist and things that people have found in the world, that there was a highly technological society that was before us. And
I
they
honestly would not doubt that.
probably killed themselves. And maybe it was AI, maybe it was war, maybe it was something else, but I think that we're our own demise. Mm-hmm. And anytime humans put their hands in anything, they just make it than it needs to be. And they overcomplicate things. My prediction is that AI will get so bad, we'll have a war between humans and AI, and we'll have to end up like blowing up the whole internet and going back to pioneer times again. Like, we're not going to have computers, we're not going to have things that could be manipulated by AI. We're going to have to clear it out and start from scratch.
Will people even know how to survive at that point?
I think a lot of people would not know how to survive without the internet.
I mean, not gonna lie, we grew up for just a short period of my childhood. Do I remember not having internet?
Yeah, we're the last generation to experience anything like that, and ours wasn't even very much.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think I got a cell phone when you were born, Taylor. So,
23 years ago.
yeah. So
Look
in the
how
big
far
picture,
it's
not
came.
that long ago.
In 23 years.
And I think the internet we probably have had since 2005, 2006, something like that. But also, we used to plug the internet in. You have to like do hardwire internet, and now everything's Wi-Fi. And I think that's so bad. It's so bad. There's so many frequencies going into people's heads and everything, and the occurrence of like glioblastoma from cell phones and Wi-Fi and everything else that's going on that you can't see.
I mean, really, this is uncharted territory. Every day is new,
Yep.
you know, so we don't know in the next 20, 30 years what kind of cancers and sicknesses are going to come or how it's going to morph people.
Yeah, and they keep pushing the boundaries of technology, which I understand that, because I feel like, you know, to progress, you have to do that. But at the same time, it's like,
how far do we need to go?
What do we need? Why do we need 10G?
We don't.
You know,
5G is bad enough.
Yeah, and I think I just read like in China, but you know what I mean? Like, and hey, I enjoy the internet immensely. It allows me a lot of freedom in my day-to-day
100%.
activities.
But there's a limit. There's a limit.
I could live without it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to research and pick up a book and go to the library, and I know how to do things without having to YouTube University every single thing. You know,
I don't even think it's that though. Like, if something were to happen and all communication was taken out, the hardest thing for me would not be having like instant communication with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, pick up a phone and be like, "Hey, where you at?" It'd be nothing.
Or being able to drive your car.
So I feel like if something happened to our communication, the world would literally be set on fire.
Yeah, I think that people need to have a plan. I think that there would be a layer of people that would immediately not be able to cope with the world and would be done.
Absolutely.
And then I think there would be people that would definitely thrive in that environment. Mm-hmm. Where they'd be like...
The older generation, I think.
I don't even know that. I think there's just some people that just naturally don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
They're good with their hands.
Yeah. They
know the environment and nature.
Yeah. They just don't need the internet, and they just don't need television or phones, you know. But not having communication with your family would be the difficult part, definitely for me.
I mean, I read a lot, so not having TV, like, not having my trash TV would be a little hard, not gonna lie. I love Love Island.
Love Island. Love is blind.
Secret Life of Modern Wives.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
But I could live without those things.
Yeah.
Like they said, the hardest part would not be having communication with family.
Yeah. I could definitely fill my days with a bunch of grandma hobbies.
Oh my gosh, like crocheting.
Yeah, I could
reading a
too. I
book.
mean, I could do my art too, but it's hard to do that with no background noise, you know?
I
To
can
me,
hear
like,
background noise.
I just, it's like white noise to me. Kind of how, like, Dad uses the radio at work for white noise. I have my stupid trash TV playing in the background
You'd
for the
have to,
millionth time, you know?
Sing to yourself.
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could sit there in silence, but the thing that drives me nuts the most is hearing the fucking doves.
Dude, oh my gosh,
My
I gotta tell you.
gosh.
You'd have to get like the sounds of nature.
Dude, I gotta tell you, the other day, what was it, yesterday? AJ, we have a Snapchat group. It's called Shitbricks. Anyway, so
Shitbricks one.
Shitbricks run.
Run. Shitbricks run.
You know what I meant. So anyway, AJ sent a video, like a Snapchat of a mourning dove on the hood of his van, and it's just looking at him through the screen, and he honks and it flies off, and I commented back and I said, I laughed so hard, and I was like, it's asking if you've seen Taylor.
Background full transparency. Taylor has misophonia and cannot stand the sound of doves.
They drive me nuts. It's not like once, fine. But no, they go on and on and on. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
It doesn't bother me, but I do, now that they bother you, I pick them up. Like, out of all the other birds, when they're like
I'm glad I'm
outside
not
and I
suffering
hear
by
them,
myself.
Taylor.
It's just like I think it's the same pitch. It's the
they're
same
monotone birds.
Yeah. Yes.
You're getting your tan line squint again. Stop, because I work with
No, I'm
Dad.
just saying it's like the same something that it's like that's what bothers me is it's like the same tone or the same. It's like
She's about to go on like crazy mode.
You know, like
I'm like Scooter with the fucking Chinese.
the Dumb and Dumber where he's like, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
You know what? I'm passionate about this guy. You just making fun of me.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
gonna go cry in my bed.
Oh, listen to the doves.
No!
You need the white noise machine that has the dove noise.
Oh, I would smash that. I would take
Oh
a
my
bet to that
gosh.
thing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. A lot of things, like things that bother a lot of other people don't bother me though. Like,
The sound of other people eating bothers
yeah,
you.
well, who doesn't?
The sound of other people talking. The sight of other people driving.
Breathing, eating, talking, driving, just fucking people in general.
This is why I'm living by myself.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I'm for real though. It's something. And the time that it's like, whoo, 10 seconds, whoo, 10 seconds, whoo. It's like repetitive, like on the dot, repetitive. That drives me nuts. And I just sit on the.
She hasn't responded yet.
I'm gonna throw a rock at you. Woo. Wait, you guys were going. I was on the phone. I was on FaceTime with Heather, and it's sitting up there on the fucking power pole, and it's like, oh, oh. I was like, I'm gonna throw a rock at this fucking thing. I picked up a rock from the garage,
From the garage. The driveway?
Yeah, the driveway, and I threw it out. I didn't hit it because
Oh,
it's
she
way
was
up.
so far away.
Shut up! It flew away though, and I said, "Fuck you."
You're just a mean person.
I don't like doves.
Maybe it's because they're government drones.
Don't get me started.
The doves are government drones for sure. But on the upside, I haven't seen that many doves around lately.
Good. No, I see it. 3 on top of the roof this morning.
Right on your side of the house.
Yep.
All right, let's move forward here. So, remote viewing is the perfect cocktail of government secrecy, Cold War paranoia, psychic wonder, and scientific ambiguity. Was it a genuine breakthrough in human potential or just a very expensive case of wishful thinking? Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. So next time you're daydreaming at your desk or zoning out on a long drive, maybe you're not zoning out at all. Maybe you're peeking into another place, another moment. Maybe you're remote viewing. This is Unusual Curiosity. If you have enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, leave a review, and share with your fellow seekers of the strange. Until next time, keep your eyes open, even the ones you can't see. Bye.
Bye.